Hey, this is Mr. Coker, obviously, and this is a video for Will, where I'm going to do numbers 3, 4, and 5 from the arcs and angles assignment. And I'm going to start just by doing number 3, and then I'm going to do number 4 and do number 10. So, I'm not going to change the numbers, so my suggestion is if as you do the priors you watch this, please try to do the problem on your assignment as you watch it, so, and pause it if you need to. So I think that will help. Anyway, this is number 3. Number 3 is asking you to find arc HDF. Now, there are 3 steps to this problem. The first step is to identify what you're finding. What is it you're trying to find? So you're going to find the arc, so that means you're going around the circle, the outside of the circle, and we're going from F, but not just F to H to F, but H to F with D in the middle. So we're going this way. Going around from H to F, and it includes D, so it tells us to go this way. And that's what we're looking for. Now, we only have 2 numbers, and one of them is irrelevant. This 44 is not going to matter. But the 56, that's the one that's going to matter, and I want to show you why. So that's the first step, is know what you're finding. Identify what measurement you're looking for visually. The second thing is to decide what rule we're using. And what I mean is it the rule of 360 or the rule of 180? So an entire circle has 360 degrees. And a half of a circle then has, well, half of 360, which is 180 degrees. We know this half, if we split it down the middle, and we have it split twice down the middle, it's 180. So this half of the circle would be 180 degrees. Also, this half would be 180 degrees. This would be 180, and then this part is also 180. The reason this is important is that as we're doing the problem, we need to know which one we're looking for. Now, we could find each piece, each of the 3 missing segments. In this case, though, all we need to know is how many degrees are in a half of a circle. We don't need to know the entire circle. We can do everything from 360, but it's not as helpful in this case. Let me explain. We only want to go from H to F, so we want this segment. So pretend this part doesn't exist. We don't need to know this part. We only need to know the part that's outlined in red. So we need these 2 segments. We have a 56. We know we have a 56, so what are these 2 segments? Well, we could identify with the rule of 180 that half of a circle is 180 degrees. So this segment from H to E must be 180 degrees. This part, this half is 180 degrees. This part is 56 degrees. And we have a bunch of kids coming down to go through here on the trampoline, so it's like a stampede.
Don't worry, Kelsey, you can definitely get on the trampoline. Oh, she was allowed
Anyway.
on the trampoline? Nah. Uh-oh. Shh, Daddy's making a video.
I forgot. enjoying the math lesson.
It's for one student.
Well, I hope you're enjoying. Because it looks so awesome. I wish I was doing 180 plus 156.
It's plus 56.
Kelsey,
Oh,
I
yes.
can't believe you came here.
Well, that was fun. You know what's awesome though is that my 6-year-old daughter was like, "Shh, Daddy's making a math video," and my 40-year-old wife was like, "Hey, kids!" That's funny. Anyway, this half of the thing is 180, and this part is 56. So we could just add the two pieces together, and we get 236. And that would be your answer. 180 plus 56 is 236. That's number 3. It came out a little different than the video was a little different than I expected, but anyway, pause it if you need to, because I'm going to erase this. Someone seems to have lost my eraser, but that's okay. That's just fine. I'll erase it. And we'll... Okay, so number 4. I've got the stuff in my computer here. We are finding HKI. Again, first thing we want to do is visually identify what we're finding. So we're finding HKI. Now HKI, H to I, well, but we said through K, so we're going around this way. And now that's the first step. Second step, remember the rule of 360 and rule of 180. Now look at identify what we're finding here. And we have two measurements. We have 125 and we have 85. Now again, we could find each piece of this. We could do it using the rule of 180. I could say 125 plus whatever this is equals 180. That would be 55. And then I could say 55 plus 85 equals X. Find that. I could find that this segment must also be 55 because 125 plus this is 180, and again 55. This one, if you look at it, you need to find almost the entire circle, though. You need to find almost the entire circumference, which is the outside measurement of a circle. You need to find almost this entire outside of the circle. The only piece you don't need to find is 85. 85 isn't included in it. I mean, by find, I mean what it is that we're looking for the answer. We're measuring from this point H, all the way around to point I. We know in between H and I we have 85. How many degrees are in a circle? 360. How many degrees are in, so the whole thing is 360. The part we are not measuring is 85. So if we just take out that 85, 360 minus 85, we're good. We've got, that will give us the answer. Well, 360 minus 85 is 275. you're done. I think I said in the first video I made a comment about this stuff is easier than it looks because it looks complicated, but it's easier than it looks. And what I mean is that if you look at all of this stuff, most of it is something like this. When it comes to like the external angles and theorem and stuff of that nature, or exterior angle theorem, stuff of that nature, you have a lot of multi-step equations, or the finding, solving, like when you're using the angle sum theorem, you get some multi-step equations or two-step equations. A lot of times with this, like numbers 3 and 4, they're one step, and they look more complicated because of the fact they look more complicated because you have all these lines, and it looks like you're finding more information than you actually are. The number 3 was just one simple addition problem. It was 180 plus something. This one is 360 minus something. So if you identify what you're looking for, and then you decide, and then you know that you're using the rule of 360 or the rule of 180, you'll find it's easier. Usually these don't have they don't have a lot of steps typically. You can do some with a lot of steps, but usually, in 10th grade geometry, we're not as so much. So if you need to pause it, write this down, go ahead. I'm going to erase it and go to number 10. So pause it now if you need to. Okay. Scroll down, see what number 10 is. Number 10 doesn't have as many lines, only has 3 lines. No 180 is in number 3. So, number 10. Why is he 3? That's weird. We don't have any diameters. We have X, U, V, and W, 95 and 125, 95, 125. And this time it tells us to find angle X, U, V. So this time it wants us to find an angle X, U, V. Now, this your U. I see how I drew it, kind of looks like a V, but that's a U. Now, obviously, we don't have a U on the outside because this is an arc this time. This is an angle. That symbol means angle. So I'm going to draw in X, U, V. X, U, V. It's an angle. Now remember, angles and arcs are the same measurement. So if we're finding this, it's the same as finding the arc from X to V. It's the same thing. Same thing. XUV is the same as XV. Okay. Again, we got the rule of 360 and the rule of 180. Well, we don't have any diameters. I mean, there's no spot where it's split in half. You can look at the lines. We don't have any straight lines from one side to the other through the middle. So we aren't using that rule of 180. We're clearly using the rule of 360. So I'm going to start by writing 360 down here. And what I'm going to do is say, we need this segment. This is what we need. Let's shade it in, make it a little. Well, we know this segment equals 95 and this segment equals 125. Well, to find this, we can just say, okay, the whole thing is 360. If I take out 125, if I minus 125, then I minus 95, what do I get? Let's see. 130, 220, what is that, 140? That's your answer. And to be clear, here's the reason it's the answer. So 95 plus 125, this entire segment here, which I'm going to double line to show it's a different thing. This is 95 plus 125 is 220. Well, 360 minus 220 is 140. So if this whole section, which I'm going to show you now in red, so rewind or pause if you need to go back to where it was. That red section is 220. That means the black section could only be 140 because 360, I'm going to write this in a different way, just where these are already added. So I try to do this mathematically and visually, but again, you're starting with this rule of 180 or the rule of 140. So I mean, of 360. I said 140 because it was the answer. First step: identify visually what you're finding, what part of the angle or arc, or which arc you're looking for, which angle you're looking for, namely what part of the circle are you trying to solve for? You're trying to find the measurement of. Secondly, decide are you using the entire length, their entire circumference of the circle? The circumference again being the distance all the way around the circle, the measurement from of the entire circle. Are you using the entire circle, or are you just looking at half the circle? Which rule do you want to use? Again, in number 10, we just need this one piece. This piece. Well, we have the rest of it. The rest of it adds to 220. We know 360 makes up an entire circle. So you just take 360 minus 220. 1 equals 140. Done. Each one of these three problems I did use one, or you are getting it down to being a one-step simple math problem. That's important because there are no equations, there's no anything complicated. The hard part is doing it visually, is identifying it visually. If you can get good at the visual identification, the rest of the thing here is easy. So it takes practice. Fortunately, if you have any struggles with this on this assignment, it's fine. This is to help you prepare for next year, because you will do these problems next year, either with me or with Dr. Eaton. So, thanks for watching, thanks for doing work, and thanks for being awesome. So, and we'll have a good summer.